Welcome back to another session. My name is Dimitris Tosidis and I'm mentor at Udacity. So today I'm going to show the project of AWS Cloud Developer now degree. And this is the Udagram, your own Instagram on AWS. So this is on a public GitHub repository, and I'm going to show it right now. I'm going to share here the repository. As you can see here, this is a GitHub repository, which is public. Here is the files of the project, and here is the description of the README. So the description is the project actually is an Udagram image filtering microservice, which makes some things. It takes an image and it filters it with this microservice. Udagram is a simple cloud application developed alongside the Udacity Cloud Engineering degree. Okay, it allows users to register and log in a web client, post photos to the feed, and so on. So you got here some 3 projects actually. The first 2 are exercises inside the course, and the third one is the project that you're going to make. So the final project of the course, it is a Node Express application which runs a simple script to process images. So there are 3 tasks here. The first task is to create a new Node server, which you have to initialize a new project. This is a Node project, so Node Package Manager is used here inside to initialize with an npm I. After that, npm run dev in order to run the server. The second thing that you have to do is to go to this file, which I'm going to show you afterwards. This is the standard code here, and to make some changes inside it to in order to use the query parameter to download the image, as you can see here, from a public URL, filter the image, and return the result. So you have to make some changes inside this file, in this code, in order to run the server, and the server is going to filter the images. And we have included a few helper functions here in order to do that. So you have to import here. There are some functions imported here, filter image from URL, delete local files from this util file inside the util folder. So this util file is a helper, has some helper functions, and you're gonna use them in order to filter the image. At the end, what the purpose of this project is to deploy it by using the Elastic Beanstalk. So this is, as I have shown in the previous session, it is a PaaS service, it's a platform as a service service, and you have to use it in order to see a PaaS application how is deployed. And this is where the AWS is coming. So here you have to EB this Elastic Beanstalk. You have to initialize the Elastic Beanstalk service with EB in it. You have to create a new application with EB create. Okay, and to the new environment, you have to deploy the image with EB, the server with EB deploy. Okay, these are 3 functions. The whole purpose of the project is with these things in order to see what's going on with the PaaS application inside AWS. 3 more suggestions, optional. You can refactor the REST API that is given here, in order to, if you want to send requests to your server, to the image server. After that, you may do the request without valid authentication headers with tokens and so on. Have to add the tokens to the Postman collection. Okay. The third one is to make your own domain name. Okay. So these are 3 optional suggestions. If you want to do them, it's okay. If you don't want, it's also okay. So you have to do that in order to pass the project. This is the purpose of it. And let's go to see the code. The code of the project is here. As you can see, this is some JSON Postman. This is a JSON file with a Postman collection. Here, these are some requests. A JSON form. These are some packages. Here, some versions of the package here for the TypeScript code in order for the server to run in a JSON form. And this is other packages, other versions, so on packages that is for the TypeScript. Okay, and some scripts here in order to run some instructions and to install some things, to install some packages. Here is a config file. This is a configuration of the TypeScript again, some things, target ES6 and so on. Common.js is the module. And here is a lint.json that it was for the linting, but right now is empty. Let's go quickly to see. Okay, it's also the deployment screenshot. So this is also a screenshot that you have to make your own and to submit it with for the project in order to for the monitors to see that you have deployed the function, you have deployed the server, and the server is running and everything is okay. So this is something like that. You have to be in a screenshot, to be printed in a screenshot, and you have to submit it in order to pass the project. And let's go to the code. So inside the SRE, inside the source file, this is the server.ts. This is the code of the server that is running and makes the filtering. That is the purpose of the server. And this some util file which has the util some help util file that has some. Here is the util folder which has an util file that has some helper functions inside it. So we're going to see at first the server.ts in order to see what's going on with the project. So here you have an Express application that it's imported, body parts is imported in order to parse the body of the request. And here is these two functions that are going to be imported from this util file. And here you make this anonymous function call with asynchronous function call that at first you have to define the app. That is Express app. Here is how the Express apps are Express framework is running. Here you define a network port for the 8082, and you define it here port. And here the app.use uses the body parser middleware for the post request. Here the body parser is used.json. So the body parser is used, and the JSON function is called here in order to parse the JSON file, the JSON data inside the request. And here is the to-do. So what you have to do is inside the to-do. So you have to implement the REST endpoint. This is the purpose of this project inside the server. So here you make, these are some comments, some instructions that you have to follow. This is you have to implement a GET request, that you have to make a GET request here, which is, this is the path filter image and the queries image URL, and you have to give a public URL. Here, endpoint to filter this endpoint is gonna take an image. This is gonna filter the image from a public URL. So you're gonna get the image from the URL and it's gonna be filtered. And it should validate the image URL query. So you have this is a very common practice. All the URLs are not valid, so you have to validate in order to see if it's gonna be implemented or if it's gonna be filtered the image or not. So here you have to validate the image URL. So you set up the regular expressions here, which is of the form www.something.something. And if this is the form of this image of this URL, then the URL should be valid. Okay. So this is the most common practice and the simplest way to do that. So you validate the image URL if it is a normal URL address, and here you call the filter image from URL, which is a function as I have imported above. We give here as an argument the image URL, and this image URL, this image is going to be filtered. And at the end, you send the resulting file in the response. Okay, so the fourth thing is to delete any files on the server. So server is getting the images from this get. It's going to be filter them. It's going to filter them, and this is going to send the resulting file as the response to inside the server. And at the end, this all of this should be deleted on finish of the response. So some two more things. The image URL is a URL of a publicly accessible image. So every URL that has a accessible image on it, and the returns is the filter image file. So I can use the send file of the TypeScript, and you're gonna give here the filter path, okay, of the image, and this send file sends it to the server, the photo. So this is the 4 steps that you have to do. And here some more things. So this displays a simple image to the user. So if the get is the root, so asynchronously function is anonymous function is called that makes a send, and this send is gonna displays this message try get, and here gives you the path that you have to make the get request, and here you have to give the image URL here inside that. Okay, and at the end, how the server can be started here app.listen, and the server is starting, and here is the port that is defined above, and here there are some logs that are going to be printed on the server, on the command line of the server. So console.log prints some messages here, server running in this localhost, and here is the port, the defined port, that's going to be printed, and here is press Ctrl+C to stop server. Okay, so this is the whole server that we have to implement in order to filter the images. Let's go and see what is inside this util in order to see some details around the filtering, the image filtering that takes place. Here is the folder util, and here is the util.ps file. And here are some code, TypeScript code. So it is imported fs and zim in order to do the filtering. The functions of these packages are going to be used. So this is a filter image from URL, helper function download, filter, and save the filter image locally inside the server. Returns the absolute path of the local image. Okay, the input is an input URL, which is a string, and the image URL again is a publicly accessible URL to an image file. Okay, so it's gonna be an absolute path is gonna be returned to a filter image. Okay, so you are saving a filter image, and the path of this image is gonna be returned locally inside the server. So this is exporting the type of the filter image from URL. Okay, and it's gonna give some value. So the input URL is the argument here as a string, as we said before, and this is a promise. Okay, so this is an asynchronous call to this function from filter image from URL, and this returns this promise again. So this promise here makes a call to an anonymous function with a resolve reject arguments, which are from the framework. And here, this is gonna make a try catch block, and after that, inside this try, there is a photo here that is defined. So this photo is gonna take the value of this read from the GIMP package. So this read reads the file from the input URL. So you give here the input URL that is here the argument, and this reads the full file. So the await suspends everything that is executed until the read gives the result. So this reads the file actually. Here the out path is defined. So this is the path for the saved image after the filtering. So here the path is a TMP filter dot. Here some random values given in order to make a random name for the new file, and here .gmp is the ending, and here again with a wait, everything is gonna be suspended until the photo is gonna be called this function. So this photo, which is actually the input of the image that is given from the input URL, this is a function chaining. So at first this size, this dimensions, after that gives the calls the quality, and gives the 60 value. After that, the grayscale function is gonna grayscale the image, and after that, it writes the file locally. So it writes here to the dir name, okay, which is let's say the root, and here is the output that is made here. Okay, and this takes the IMG, this is another anonymous call that resolves the path of the saved file. Okay, so this is resolves this path here. This is the result of the function. If the function is successful, if not, it goes to the catch, and this is the error that is going to be the result of the function. And at the end, here is the reject of the function reject of the express framework that is going to give back the error. Okay, so you may have here the dir name that if it is successful the call, or a reject with the error if it is not successful. This is the result of the promise. Okay. And at the end, this is another function, the second function. So as we have seen before in the server.ts, you have to call the filter image in order to filter the image. After that, you have to send it. But at the end, you have to delete all the files that are going to be saved locally in the server. To delete local files, you have to call this function inside the server.ts. Helper function to delete files on the local disk, useful to clean up after tasks. Okay, so the input is the files that have been made after the filtering, the image files. So the files, actually, you are taking here as an array of string, an array of absolute paths to the files. Okay, this is the paths of the files of the images. And here you export this function. Again, is an asynchronous function. We delete the local files. You give here the argument, the array string with all the file paths. So these functions are going to be called asynchronously. So you don't know if it's going to call once, the filter image from URL is going to be called once, twice, and so on. So you don't know if you're making a get and after that the files are deleted. You may have a lot of multiple gets. So multiple after that, multiple images may be filtered. And at the end, you have an array of paths of an array of paths of files. You may have a lot of paths of files, so you have here the array of these paths. Okay. And at the end, for every file inside the files, you have to call the unlinked sync is called in order to delete the paths. Okay. So this is it, the whole project. I think it is a simple project that you have just to make some changes to the server file, and you have to deploy it with elastic build time. Of course, you have to install and all the node packages and so on, and initialize them. You don't have to install them, but you have to initialize them. And I think that is the first touch with deployments on AWS. It is how to deploy a PaaS application, and I think that it's very easy, but very also important and interesting. So thank you for watching, and make your project, and we are gonna see the next project soon. Goodbye.